I think it's extremely important. You see, what has happened that the film industry actually, because it's not an industry, all kind of allegations, all kind of images are created which are not entirely true, like it's mafia based and people. It's like extremely ridiculous that an industry or that creates partly the culture of this country, that contributes to the creation of culture of this country, is called all kind of names and is not granted the status that I think it deserves.
No, it didn't have this industry status all these years. And why now? Why not?
See, I think perhaps now, looking at the kind of cinema that's being made, and that's directly, I think, affecting our day-to-day life, day-to-day culture. I think well, if you say why now, why not earlier, my answer to that would be that perhaps this status should have been there all along. But now, because it's not been done before, it's not something that I feel that, oh, we should have it now. We should have had, right from the beginning. So all this nonsense about, oh, there is underworld money, there is this kind of money, and then people making the kind of films they say they make under pressure, wouldn't happen. And also, I think some legitimate filmmakers would come to foreground. See, I see, for instance, even in this conference, there are a lot of people who are speakers, who are speaking, but who are not really making films. They're just making speeches, which is ridiculous. I mean, how can people who only make speeches determine the fate of filmmakers? Filmmakers must speak. And if there is an industry, if there is a body which says, these people are speech makers and these people are filmmakers, I think it'll be very nice.
But then it would require people like you to come here. You
Yeah.
just come here for 10 minutes.
No, I'll tell you something very interesting. My invitation, actually, what I had said, this is what it'll start, the thing, intellectual property, for which I feel very strongly, starts at 5:30. I am actually recording background. I have almost 55 musicians now at this time. I left it all to come here. And it's only when I walked in here 10 minutes before time, I was told that, oh, that has happened at 2:30. Maybe when we have an industry which is organized, this won't happen. Also, I must say that, the next thing I think would be, why did I leave my background score and come here for this? I think it's extremely important for the government to understand that for every 1 rupee that is lost in piracy, that is lost in cable, more than 50 paisa, it's the government that's losing it. The producer is losing, I'm losing 3 paisas to 4 paisa, number one. So it's extremely important for the government, for its own benefit, to completely and totally crack down on the cable network. You see, I personally have gone to court. Me and my brother Veer, we went to court in Delhi, and you would be happy personally that just 2 days back we got an injunction from Delhi High Court restricting all cable operators from showing Kareeb when it's released on cable network. And if they do, it'll be contempt of court. And we've done it individually because we don't have industry, we don't have the organization of a film industry. But as individuals, we've gone to court of law and we've been granted, we fought it almost 2-3 months. And we have an ex parte injunction against cable networks. See, now what happens the day the movie releases, same night it's on cable, which is loss of revenue for, yes, the producer. That's how one would like to look at it. But I think the loss of revenue for the government is, 50 times more than the loss of revenue for the producer. So it's time the government woke up and said, number one, it's a law and order problem. They talk of law and order. I think it's a major law and order problem when the day the movie releases, it's shown all over India on cable. What law and order are we talking about here? Number one. Number two is loss of revenue. Number three, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, even if the government was to put, let us say, a CRPF battalion, the cost of putting that battalion to curb piracy would pay for itself overnight, because the amount of revenue that will come through entertainment tax will easily balance this out. So it's bad policy, it's bad business, it's bad image for the government. So it's time somebody in the government woke up. And if they can't do anything else, at least they can help us, with the fact that we have a court injunction to implement it, to execute that. I mean, when I go to a police officer, I have to say now, no, it's not, I'm not requesting you. It's a court order. So if nothing else, obey the court.
Personally, as a filmmaker, suppose you had organized finance, corporate or a bank or any financial institution, but would you prefer that to?
Let me tell you one thing personally as a filmmaker, I'm only taking corporate finance. I have not taken a penny from any film industry sources, never in my life. My film career is totally financed by the banks. I have not personally. So I'm not here to say personally I need to fight this battle because personally I'm as corporate as you can be. I have not a penny I owe anybody. My finances don't come from film industry sources. I have nothing to do with those sources.
Can't everybody else do things the way you do without needing an industry status or needing to go to the government?
You see, no, see, if one individual is fighting a battle and winning it because he's really fighting hard, does not mean that everybody can do that. I think as a body, as we together, it's like when I talk of piracy, when I talk of going to High Court and getting this injunction, as an individual I may be able to do. Some other filmmaker who's as good or better filmmaker than me but does not have the, the push of going to Delhi High Court, of hiring lawyers and fighting, will not do that. I mean, let me tell you frankly, if my brother Veer wasn't here with me, I wouldn't have the time to go to Delhi High Court and fight. It's just because there is two of us we are fighting. Otherwise I'd say, yeah, I better make my movie, what can I do about it? And then I would, like everybody else, say the country is rubbish and law and order is rubbish and this is not a good country to live in. I think before we give in, we need to fight. I mean, I'm fighting and I'll fight all the way, alone. But that doesn't mean that, because I'm fighting alone, let everybody fight a lonely battle and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be. I think it's time government woke up to the fact that it's in its own favor to come down on piracy, on law and order. And really, truly, for once, just wake up and say, it's not the problem of the film industry, it's the problem of the government. Thank you.